Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name's Nina. I help people declutter their minds and their homes using practical applications of psychology. And if you've been struggling with decluttering or you feel like you always seem to give up halfway through the process, then today's video is meant for you because I'm going to explain exactly why that tends to happen. And I truly believe that understanding this can be a game changer in being able to finally overcome it and in finally being able to understand why it can feel so impossible for us in the first place. And it all has to do with something called the emotional cycle of change. Now, this was developed by psychologists Kelley and Daryl in the late 1970s, and it's based off of the emotional stages that they observed people go through during voluntary change, which can, of course, include taking on big tasks like cleaning and decluttering. So let's go ahead and jump right in because I think the second you hear it, it's going to sound very familiar. And then I'll talk about how it directly relates to decluttering and how we can help ourselves successfully make it through to the end of the cycle so that we can actually get things done. So there are 5 stages in total, and the first one is called uninformed optimism. This is where we feel excitement and enthusiasm about making the change, and we're focused on the positive aspects of this change and all the good things that are going to come out of it. And we still believe that the change itself is going to be relatively easy to achieve. But the next stage that comes is informed pessimism. This is where we start to learn a lot more about what this process is really going to entail, and we start to see all the challenges that are going to be involved. We can become a lot more realistic, but we can also lose our optimism. We can also start to question our ability to be able to make this change. This is also the stage where we are likely to begin to feel overwhelmed, which can lead us into the next stage, which is called the valley of despair. Now, this is the absolute lowest point in the emotional cycle where we can feel hopeless, helpless, discouraged, and frustrated, and even question our decision to make this change in the first place. And for many of us, this is also where we give up. But if we can push through this part of the cycle, we do start on an upturn. And the beginning of this is called informed optimism. So after we make it through that valley of despair, we start to regain some hope and we start to believe again that the task itself is actually possible. This is where we can start to see some progress and we can start to become more confident in our ability to make change. And finally, we get to completion. This is where we feel a sense of accomplishment, satisfaction, and pride, and we are encouraged to implement other changes in our life and make other improvements. Now, after hearing this, I think we can all recognize the different stages that we go through during the cleaning and decluttering process. And unfortunately, I think so many of us just give up when we are in stage 2 or 3, and now we can understand why that happens. But that means that we never make it to that upswing where things actually start to become a lot easier. Now, I have found that understanding this emotional cycle of change and knowing ahead of time that there are going to be these 3 steps down before we get to the 2 steps up can be extremely helpful because we can manage and anticipate our emotions. We know ahead of time what we are likely going to be going through, so we can plan for that. It can help us be a lot more patient and loving with ourselves and also help us to persist through the challenges that these tasks entail. So for example, we know that when we are in this uninformed optimism stage at the beginning, that we are likely to clean and declutter with a lot of enthusiasm and hopefully get a lot done during this time period. But as we shift into the next 2 stages of informed pessimism and the valley of despair, we can anticipate that we are likely to feel a lot of frustration and overwhelm, and that we could actually give up at that point. So we can counteract that by giving ourselves a lot of self-support and a lot of understanding and self-care, so we hopefully don't fall into the traps of procrastination or avoidance or just throwing in the towel altogether. I truly believe that understanding this process has been one of the key factors in me finally being able to clean and declutter my home. It's been the difference between giving up completely and navigating my way through the task because I know what to expect and I can plan for it. So I really hope that it is a game changer for you as well. And if you need a little more support during your decluttering journey, I do have a playlist that I will go ahead and link down below that has over 40 videos designed to help help you with exactly that. So as always, I truly hope you found today's video to be helpful and insightful. If you did, please like it and share it with someone else who may benefit from the same message. I want to thank you so much for spending time with me today, and I hope the rest of your day is extraordinary.